I found out why she comes home late from work and it's horrible. Part 2. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. Me and Kate helped build other back up after our tumultuous pasts, and now we have remarkable lives. It never occurred to me that she would lie to me about anything. We had such an open communication, credible relationship, and we never experienced any issues with this kind of stuff before. I got consumed with searching if she was lying about the drugs. I needed undeniable proof. The following day when she left for work, I flipped the house looking for something. I had no idea what I was searching. A bag of coke? Some pills perhaps? I went through every drawer, every nook and cranny of every furniture, coat pocket, on top of the closets. Anywhere she might be able to conceal things. I found nothing. I tried to convince myself I was just being paranoid. My PTSD as well as insecurities regarding my past relationship were triggering me, and I was just getting compulsive with looking for something that wasn't there. I decided I would quit searching out if she was lying due to the fact that if I was wrong my actions can destroy a great connection. I believed Kate would certainly never lie to me or even worse cheat on me. She had a horrible experience with her ex-husband's dishonesty on her while she was pregnant, and additionally, he concealed a drug problem from her. So I couldn't imagine her doing the same thing to me that her ex-partner did to her. So I allow things go. She returned home at regular times again for a while. This relaxed me down a lot. I began to really feel bad for my paranoia. Until, one night, I'm at a local pool hall playing at a table with a random guy, we will call him Jerry. And while me and Jerry are chatting, I mention that my girlfriend works at the club's name. Jerry's sister, Sarah, was hanging out with us while we played pool, and said she worked at the same club a couple of months ago. I asked her if she knew Kate and she said she did, but they weren't really that close. They mostly knew each other in passing. I then expressed that I wished Kate had a day job where we could be home together more at night when I got off work. I tell Sarah that since the club typically closes at 4, I would only see Kate for about an hour or two before I left for work in the morning. Sarah then looks at me confused and says, I thought they close at 2 a.m.? When I worked there we only closed at 4 on Friday and Saturday nights. I tell Sarah they changed the hours after you left. Sarah then tells me that her roommate still works there and she never mentioned the closing times had changed because she still comes home just after 2 during the week. It got awkward fast, but I shrugged it off and finished the game of pool. After the game, I went home and I couldn't get what Sarah told me out of my head. I looked up the club Kate worked at, and indeed, it said they were only open till 4 a.m. on Friday and Saturday nights and 2 a.m. every other night. I again convinced myself that they must have not updated the times on their website yet after they made changes or something. Deep down I knew Kate was up to something. But I was so scared of being lied to again after years of avoiding relationships for that exact reason. I was in full-fledged denial. The next day was a Sunday night. I texted Kate and asked her when she would be off that night, and she said she would be home at 4:30 and she would text me when she was on her way. So at 2:30 a.m. I called the club and asked if I could speak with her. It was about her son. The manager answered and told me they had closed at 2, and Kate already left. I felt like I was going to throw up. I decided I was going to confront Kate. I don't know when she came home that night because I ended up drinking until I passed out and didn't go out to the parking lot to walk her in. When I woke up, she was asleep next to me. I got up and went into the living room where I saw her purse sitting on the coffee table. I picked it up and started to go through it. At first I didn't find anything, no drugs or anything shady else that would throw me off. Then I noticed tucked away in one of the small zippers I found an empty dime bag and rolled up dollar bill. Is this what I have been looking for all this time? I just put it down on the coffee table and went to work. I was hoping she would see it and know that I found it. When I came home she was getting ready for work. She was in front of the bathroom mirror doing her makeup, specifically her eyeliner. I lean up against the door and look at her through the mirror. She looks up and says, "Hey babe, what's up, how was work?" I guess she didn't see that I found the rolled up dollar bill. I reply with, "Hey, we need to talk about something." I proceeded to tell her that I called the club and they told me they close at 2 on Sundays. She immediately ignores the entire topic of her lying about what time the club closes and proceeds to scream at me for being controlling and obsessive and not trusting her and having no right to call the club in the first place. It didn't faze me. I had made sure that I wasn't just being paranoid. What she was doing was grade A gaslighting, which I was well experienced with because of my previous relationship. The fight continues to escalate. I accuse her of doing cocaine behind my back and lying to me about her drug habit. I call her a coke whore. And that's when she turns around and swings at me with her eyeliner. I turn in reflex and she lodges the eyeliner pencil about 1.5 inches into my shoulder. She then proceeds to punch about 6 times in the face. I don't react or hit back. I was mostly just in shock. Once she finished beating me and screaming, we both just stood there staring at each other. I pull the pencil out of my arm and drop it on the floor. I walk out of the bathroom and into the kitchen where I get some duct tape and patch up the hole in my arm. I have a tattoo right where she stabbed me and I still have a nice healthy scar there to this day. I leave the apartment and I start my walk to the liquor store. Kate is blowing up my phone. She is doing the whole thing where she is apologizing, and when she doesn't get a response she begins throwing insults and then repeats that cycle over and over. I buy a bottle of Fireball whiskey and proceed to walk and drink and walk and drink. I eventually black out and wake up to none other than Jeffrey, who I played pool with the other day, and some other guy I didn't know trying to pick me up out of the snow. They put me in their car. Apparently they were on their way to work and saw me fall and not move on the side of the street and pulled over to make sure I was okay. Today I wonder where those guys worked, because it must have been super early in the morning. I was walking for hours at that point and probably blacked out long before I fell. I had finished the whole bottle of whiskey very quickly. When I was in the car with them, they asked me what was going on and why I was walking around at that time of night that far from the town. I could barely talk, it felt like my lips were frozen. I was able to tell them where I lived and they dropped me off at home. When I go inside, Kate is shocked and tries to get me to lay down and get me warm. I blacked out again shortly after and woke up in a pool of vomit in my bed. I get up and take a shower and go out into the living room where Kate is sitting on the couch crying. We begin to talk. She apologizes for stabbing me with the eyeliner pencil, and she admits that she had started doing coke again and was going to her coworker's place. A few of them lived together in an apartment. They were all females, and she would do coke with them before coming home. She first started doing it to help her get through work, and it just kept escalating. I asked her if it was just coke or if it was other stuff too, because there were some nights where she seemed like she was more than just coke. She admits every once in a while she took a Xanax to take the edge off the coke before she came home, but she did this rarely. We ended the conversation civilly and she promised to stop doing drugs and lying to me about where she was and that she would never hide anything from me again. But now that I knew she was capable of lying and keeping things from me, I was a bit more on my toes with things than usual. Weeks go by, and things are kinda back to normal for a while. The only odd thing was Kate was working more often than usual. She would cover for people more or pick up extra shifts randomly more often. Before she only worked 4 days a week, but now she works 6 or 7 days. It didn't become suspicious until I noticed that if we had a fight on a night she wasn't scheduled to work. There are more to come. Find out the update of this story, check our channel or the description. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.